All right, boys and girls, I am back in my text. Once again, I'm going to zoom in so that way it's nice and close. I'm looking at page 457, Sybil Ludington. Now, this is a continuation of Joseph Plum Martin. However, we are just in the same unit of study with the Revolutionary War, but we're learning now about Sybil Ludington. It starts here with a quote, "The British are burning Danbury. Muster at Ludington's. Outdistancing Paul Revere." Ooh, I've heard of Paul Revere before. I know Paul Revere is very important during this Revolutionary War. Outdistancing, so they're saying that Sybil Ludington outdistanced Paul Revere. So it's saying that almost like she outperformed Paul Revere. Fredericksburg, New York, April 26, 1777. Nearly everyone has heard of the midnight ride of Paul Revere. I've heard of it. That's mainly because Henry Wadsworth Longfellow wrote a poem about it soon after it happened. But far fewer people know that 2 years later, a 16-year-old girl rode much farther over rougher roads. Alone and unarmed, Sybil Ludington raced through the night for freedom. So right here, we have this part that's in italics, this part right here. It's in italics because it's introducing us to our story, but more specifically, it's introducing us to Sybil Ludington. So right now, I am writing down on my notebook paper. I have Sybil Ludington at the top, and I'm going to be writing down character traits, physical and internal traits, just like I did with Joseph Plum Martin. She is a girl. She is important to U.S. history. She's 16 years old, so she's young, just like Joseph Plum Martin. So right there we have that similarity. And I can infer that she is brave because here it said that she's 16 years old. She's riding on rough roads. Now, riding how? In a car? Probably not because it's 1777. And I know that during this time, people used horses to travel. She was alone and unarmed, meaning unarmed. She had no weapons to protect herself, so she's very brave in my opinion. Just after dark on a rainy evening in April 26, 1777, Colonel Henry Ludington, commander of the regiment. Just like we did the day before, let's go into our Google search, regiment. A unit of an army. Okay. Colonel Henry Ludington, commander of the regiment of militiamen. And we know that the militia is a type of a group of men who are fighting. So he's the commander of the militiamen near the New York-Connecticut border. Heard a rap at his door. Now, he heard a rap at his door. We've heard that word rap before. We've heard it when they said in some of our guided groups when we were learning about Martin Luther King, and they said that they would rap their knuckles with a ruler. We're not talking about rapping. We're not talking about like wrapping a present. We're talking about like a rap, like a knock, knock, knock at the door. Outside stood a saluting messenger, rain streaming from his cape. His words came fast. British soldiers had just torched the warehouse in Danbury, Connecticut. Food and guns belonging to the Continental Army were being destroyed. Soldiers were burning homes, too. Could Colonel Ludington round up his men right away? Sybil rode farther. On April 18, 1775, Paul Revere raced from Boston to Lexington to warn American rebel leaders. The British are coming! He rode 14 miles on good roads for some 2 hours, while Sybil Ludington rode all night, nearly 40 miles over cart tracks and rutted fields in the blackness of rural farm country. So when that word rural, that is the opposite. So in English language, we have urban, which means city, and we have rural, which means like country. So she's not riding through streets, she's not riding through businesses, she is riding through like pastures of cows and farmland. Oh. It was easier said than done. Colonel Ludington's militiamen were fighters and woodsmen whose homes were scattered through the countryside. Someone would have to go get them while the colonel stayed behind to organize them once they had arrived. But who? Who besides he himself knew where they all lived and could cover so many miles on horseback in dead of night? Deep in thought he heard his daughter Sybil's voice. She was saying she wanted to go. For Sybil Ludington it was an unexpected chance to help the war effort. As the oldest of 8 children, her days were filled with chores and responsibilities. Still, each week, when her father's men drilled in the pasture, she paused from her work to watch them. She wished she could fight. People kept saying she was doing her part for liberty at home. But she wanted to do more. Suddenly, with this emergency, on a rainy night, she had a chance. Okay. Wow. So Sybil is responsible. She has 7 brothers and sisters. We know that she's brave because we learned what she did. We also know that she is helpful because she's saying she wanted to go and help. And we also know that she feels that she needs to do her job in order to help what's happening. Here we have a map to show, and I see these arrows here, and we have a caption that will tell us more about the map. The route of Sybil Ludington's night ride through the New York countryside. So here it shows, I'm wondering where she started. So it's showing how she went all around, and what was she doing as she rode? Maybe we'll find out more on this next page. So this next page, this is what you are going to read on your own, and you will have an exit ticket. You will continue reading from 459 until 461. Okay, so you're going to stop at 461, you're going to go back into Edsby, look at your exit ticket, and then upload your exit ticket just like you did on day 1, 2, and 3.